Hello, Toads and Toadettes. Welcome to the third ever episode of Breakdown, the podcast that focuses on video games centralized around Nintendo series like Mario and Zelda. While those games are the main focus of this podcast, there are many others that can be discussed on this channel, even ones from other developers like Sony or Microsoft. We here at Breakdown have a love for all video games. Today's episode is going to be about one of my personal favorite video games, Luigi's Mansion, for the Nintendo GameCube and the Nintendo 3DS. Luigi's Mansion is an action-adventure video game developed and published by Nintendo for the GameCube. The game was a launch title for the GameCube and was the first game in the Mario franchise to be released for the console. It was released in North America on November 18th, 2001, making it almost 20 years old. It's the second video game in which Luigi has been the main character instead of Mario, after Mario is missing, which we're not going to talk about that game. Players control him as he explores a haunted mansion, searching for Mario and dealing with ghosts by capturing them through a vacuum cleaner supplied by Professor Egad. There have been 2 sequels and a remake for the 3DS, like I mentioned. There was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and Luigi's Mansion 3. And then there was the Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS, like I mentioned. Those were all made by Grezzo, which is I think they're like a third-party developer, but they were all co-developed by Nintendo and published by Nintendo. But we're talking about the main Luigi's Mansion here. In Luigi's Mansion, the main story is played out over 4 stages, with players able to also access a training room and a gallery at the professor's laboratory between stages. In each stage, players control Luigi as he explores the mansion's rooms and hunts down the ghosts that lie within them, acquiring keys to get through locked doors, and eventually dealing with a boss ghost hidden at the end of the stage, with more rooms becoming accessible as each stage is completed. To assist him in the task, Luigi uses a flashlight and 2 inventions supplied by Egad, the Poltergust 3000, a specifically modified high-powered vacuum, and the Game Boy Horror, a play on Nintendo's Game Boy Color. In order to capture ghosts, Luigi must first use his flashlight to light up the ghost to stun it, revealing its heart. When this happens, players use the Poltergust 3000 to suck them up, steadily reducing the ghost's hit points to 0. The more hit points, the more time it takes for the ghost to be captured, giving them a chance to break free while leaving Luigi more exposed to being harmed. If Luigi's HP is reduced to 0 from being hurt by the ghosts, the game is over. Once a ghost's HP is reduced to 0, they are captured. Some ghosts cannot be captured easily until Luigi locates 3 special medallions, each granting the Poltergust with the ability to suck up certain elements from the rooms and use them to capture special ghosts lying within the mansion. Those elements are water, ice, and fire. In addition to capturing the regular ghosts in the mansion, Luigi must also draw out special, quote-unquote, portrait ghosts from special rooms, each requiring a condition to be met to make them available for capture. Once all the ghosts in a room are captured, it brightens up. The music also changes accordingly, being pleasantly whistled by Luigi, while being haunted and spooky when filled with ghosts, with Luigi humming nervously to the tune. Utilizing the Game Boy Horror, players can access a map of the mansion, seeing which rooms they have visited, what doors are open, and which remain locked. When Luigi finds a key during his explorations, the Game Boy Horror automatically indicates which door it unlocks. In addition to a map function, the device also keeps track of any treasure that Luigi has found. Rooms will usually have treasure hidden within, which can be either coins, gems, gold bars, and so forth, hidden within items and even in a chest that appears when the ghosts are cleared out. These treasures can be sucked up with the Poltergust, and If a ghost harms Luigi, he will drop a small amount of the collected treasure that he'll need to recover before it disappears. After Luigi encounters a group of boos hiding in the mansion, not booze as in like alcohol, but booze as in like the Mario enemy, the device can be used to find one hiding in each room through a beeper sound and a flashing yellow light on the device, which turns to red when Luigi is close to one. Boos can be only located in rooms that have become lit after their ghosts have been cleared out. Boos are trickier to deal with, as they can plant decoys and traps within objects they can hide in that can fool the horror, and will escape into other rooms if they can, forcing the player to chase after them. Once a stage is complete, all portrait ghosts are restored to their paintings by EGAD, which the player can view in his laboratory's gallery, at which point a results screen reveals the portrait ghosts Luigi has managed to capture, along with the total amount of treasure he recovered for that stage. Once the final boss of Luigi's Mansion is defeated, the player is given a rating, A to H, during the end credits, based on the amount of treasure Luigi has found. After completing the game once, a second mode is offered, called the Hidden Mansion. In the European version of this mode, the mansion appears as a reflected version of the previous version, with bosses being made more difficult, ghosts and portrait ghosts being trickier to capture, and more ghosts being in some of the rooms. Although in the US version, I don't really think there's too much of a difference. Now, going from the gameplay overview to the plot, there isn't really too much of a plot, because it's a Mario game, but it does kind of have a little bit of a plot. Luigi is notified he has won a mansion in a contest he did not enter. He informs Mario and they agree to meet up outside the mansion that evening. Luigi follows a map to the mansion, finding it more sinister looking than the supplied photo. With Mario nowhere to be found, Luigi enters the mansion alone. He encounters a ghost, which attacks him, but is unexpectedly saved by a scientist who unsuccessfully tries to suck up the ghost with a vacuum cleaner. The two evacuate before more ghosts can arrive, and the man introduces himself as Professor Alvin Gadd, or EGAD for short. He explains the mansion is supernatural in origin and only appeared a few nights prior. EGAD tells Luigi that he saw Mario heading towards the mansion, but has not seen him since. Upon learning that Mario is Luigi's brother, EGAD entrusts Luigi with his ghost hunting equipment, including the Poltergust 3000 and the Game Boy Horror, and Luigi re-enters the mansion to look for Mario. As Luigi explores the mansion, he discovers it was built by King Boo to shelter the now freed portrait ghosts whom EGAD had previously captured and contained in paintings, with a large machine dubbed the, quote, Ghost Portrait... I can never say this. Ghost Portrification... Oh my gosh. Portraitificationizer. Wow, I had a stroke reading that. And created the false contest to lure the Mario Bros into a trap. After recapturing many ghosts and working his way through the mansion, Luigi confronts King Boo, who has trapped Mario inside a painting. King Boo pulls Luigi into the painting for their final battle, using a suit-like replica of Bowser to combat him. Luigi manages to defeat King Boo and escape from the painting. King Boo is later turned into a painting along with the other portrait ghosts, while EGAD uses the Ghost Portraitificationizer in reverse to free Mario. After the mansion disappears, EGAD uses the treasure Luigi collected on his adventure to build him a new non-haunted house in its place. Its size depends on how much treasure the player has gathered during the game. Let's talk a little bit about the development of the game. The game was revealed at Nintendo Space World 2000 as a technological demo designed to show off the graphical capabilities of the GameCube. The original plan for Luigi's Mansion involved a game where the levels revolved around a large mansion or complex. Tests were later done with Mario characters in dollhouses and such. But once it transitioned into a GameCube project, Luigi was selected as the main character in order to keep the game original and new. The other gameplay ideas, such as ghosts and the ghost-sucking vacuum cleaner, were later added, and that's kind of just how it came to be. This game is phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie. I love this game to death, and I think a lot of people love it. It is a humorous, satisfying game, and I think it's one of the hidden gems of the GameCube. It sold very well. Most ratings are like 90 out of 100, 7.9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. The 3DS version has like an 80 out of 100, 4 out of 5, 14 out of 20. I'm just reading off some various, like Destructoid has 7.5 out of 10. Very, very good reviews. It's a very, very great game. I would highly recommend picking up the 3DS version if you're a newer player and don't have a GameCube. However, I would recommend picking up a GameCube if you don't have one and actually getting the original, or hell, even getting an emulator of like the Dolphin emulator, and don't, you know, do it in a way that's, I mean, support the developers, but the emulator is out there. That's all I'll say. It's a very, very good game. I very much enjoy it. It's not super long. It's probably, I mean, you could probably get through it in a couple hours, but it's a very, very fun game. I even have for Luigi's Mansion 3, I have a statue from First Four Figures on my desk of Luigi and the Polterpup, and it lights up, and oh my god, I love it. I love it to death. Some of my favorite segments in Luigi's Mansion include the first big boss ghost, Chauncey, Bogmire's boss fight, the power going out, finding Mario in the well, and the King Boo boss fight. I mean, all the portrait ghost fights are really, really well made. I don't think there's a single one that I would say is really bad. Like, honestly, guys, this game is seriously a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, this game is top tier. I don't think I've ever played a game that I could play every single day for the rest of my life and never get bored of. Like, this game I could literally play for the rest of my life and never get bored of it. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Some of the portrait ghosts require, like, really deep thinking. Like the one, like the freaking snowman guy. He's not a snowman. He's more like an Eskimo. You gotta use your fire to take out the ice around him, and then you suck him up. Sometimes you gotta, like, light candles to get the ghosts to appear. It's really, really cool. Very interesting. The puzzles in it are pretty good. I highly recommend this game. So, I would pick it up. So yeah, that is episode 3. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you in the next one.